Imagine a city so advanced, it had underground drains, public baths, and houses with private toilets. 5,000 years ago, no kings, no wars, no temples towering over peasants, just harmony, order, and silent genius. And then, one night, it vanished. Entire cities disappeared without fire, without invasion, without a single cry recorded in stone. As if a whole civilization simply walked away. This is the story of the Indus Valley Civilization, India's first urban miracle and perhaps the world's most peaceful enigma. Picture yourself in the year 1856. British engineers are laying railway tracks across the Punjab plains. The sun is harsh, the air thick with dust. They stumble upon ancient bricks, perfectly fired, uniforms strong as stone. Without realizing it, they begin using those bricks to build the railway line between Karachi and Lahore. It would take decades before anyone realized. Those bricks were not ordinary. They came from the ruins of Harappa, one of the world's oldest cities. Fast forward to the 1920s, two archaeologists, John Marshall and R.D. Banerjee, start excavating a site called Mohenjo-Daro in Sindh. What they uncover stuns the world, a vast planned city with straight roads, multi-story homes, and a drainage system that would shame many modern towns. This wasn't a random ancient settlement, it was the heart of a civilization, one that stretched across 800,000 square kilometers, from the mountains of Baluchistan to the deserts of Gujarat, from the banks of the Indus to the foothills of the Himalayas. Nearly 5 million people living in organized cities 5,000 years ago. And the strangest part, they did it all without kings, palaces, or conquests. Imagine walking through Mohenjo-Daro at its peak. You wouldn't see chaos, no narrow lanes, no garbage piles, no shouting traders. Instead, you'd see broad streets, laid out in perfect grids, aligned to the cardinal directions. Every house had a bathroom and a private well. The city even had storm drains with removable lids, engineers who thought of maintenance 5 millennia ago. The people of the Indus valued cleanliness above all. Bathing wasn't just hygiene, it was ritual. In the city center stood the famous Great Bath, a massive pool built with baked bricks, sealed with natural bitumen to prevent leaks. Here, citizens likely performed sacred purifications, washing away not sin, but impurity of the mind. There were no grand temples, no royal tombs, no monuments screaming ego, only order, simplicity, and a silent belief that civilization wasn't about domination, but balance. Their houses looked identical, small, modest, peaceful. A merchant and a potter lived side by side, sharing water, space, and purpose. It's hard to imagine today a society without greed or hierarchy. But the Indus Valley seemed to have managed exactly that. And yet, how did they keep such perfect peace? What invisible code held them together? Unlike Egypt or Mesopotamia, where giant temples ruled every city, the Indus had no clear gods carved in stone. Archaeologists found small terracotta figurines, a mother goddess, a horned yogi figure, and sacred animals like bulls and unicorns. But no one truly knows what they worshipped. Perhaps they didn't worship God, but principles, nature, fertility, balance. Their religion might have been more philosophical than ritualistic, closer to early yoga and Proto-Hinduism than organized religion. The famous Pashupati seal, for example, shows a horned man sitting cross-legged surrounded by animals, eerily similar to Lord Shiva in meditation. Could this be India's first yogi, or just a coincidence frozen in clay? No one knows. Because the Indus people left behind a script we cannot read. Over 4,000 seals have been found done with beautiful pictographs, animals and symbols, yet to this day no one has decoded them. It's like the civilization is speaking to us, but in a language lost to time. A whisper from 5,000 years ago saying, "We existed, we thrived, but you will never truly understand us." We often think ancient life was primitive, but the Indus people prove otherwise. They were urban planners, engineers, traders, and artists. They built granaries to store food for bad years, used standardized weights for trade. One of the earliest examples of economic regulation, crafted beads so microscopic that even today, jewelers struggle to replicate them without machines. And their trade, it reached as far as Mesopotamia, the cradle of Western civilization. Seals from Harappa have been found in modern-day Iraq, proof that Indian merchants sailed the Arabian Sea thousands of years before Rome even existed. They exported ivory, carnelian, copper, and cotton, perhaps the first cotton fabric in human history. And yet, through all their brilliance, they stayed humble. Their art was simple, their homes equal, their lives balanced, until something changed. Somewhere around 1900 BCE, the cities began to fade. Houses emptied, trade routes fell silent, drainage systems clogged with dust. But there were no signs of war, no burnt cities, no mass graves. So what happened? Some theories say the Indus River changed course, drying up vital water routes. Others blame climate change, droughts that lasted decades. And some whisper about internal decline, slow decay of social order. By the time the Aryans arrived in the north, the once glorious Indus world was already gone. Only scattered villages remained, the memory of greatness buried under silt and time. And yet, did it truly disappear? Look closely and you'll see the Indus Valley never really vanished. Its DNA lives in modern India, in our emphasis on cleanliness, in the concept of sacred bathing, in yoga and the worship of nature. Even the city planning of later Indian town, from Dholavira to Jaipur, echoes the same obsession with symmetry and balance. The Indus people may not have left behind grand monuments, but they left behind a mindset, a civilization that believed in quiet order, not conquest, in harmony, not hierarchy. And perhaps that's why they remain so mysterious. They remind us that greatness doesn't always roar. Sometimes it whispers. The Indus Valley Civilization, a lost world that flourished without kings, wars, or temples, and then disappeared overnight. A reminder that no matter how advanced we become, civilization is fragile. As fragile as the clay seals they left behind. Next time you see a drop of water flow down a drain, remember, 5,000 years ago, someone in Mohenjo-Daro designed that idea. And if this story made you look at our forgotten past with new eyes, then like, share, and subscribe to Historian Baba, where we bring back the bizarre, forgotten, and beautiful stories of India's lost ages.